All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than we normally do on the channel here. I'm going to be taking a look at two digital microscopes that I bought on Amazon.com. They're both from the same company, which is Elikliv. The first one here in front of me is a $39 microscope. That's what I paid all in, taxes and everything. The other one is $196 all in, taxes and everything. So we'll kind of look at the two and how they're packaged and how they assemble and how they work and all that. And then I'll just compare the two in terms of quality and then give you my ultimate recommendation on whether you are going to be okay getting a $39 microscope or if you really need to jump up and get the $198 one. All right, so this is the $39 microscope from Elikliv. This is in 720p. I've not used this specifically for anything like cell cultures or, actual microscope slides or anything like that. This is primarily marketed, it seems like, towards coin collectors. I'm using it to look at wristwatches and imperfections there on the dial and things like that. So for my purposes, I just want to try it out and see if a digital microscope kind of suited my needs. This one I've been using for about a week now. There are things I like about it, there are things I don't. For $39, there's not a lot I can complain about. So I'll go ahead and turn it on here. It does have a built-in battery. So we'll kind of go through some of the quick features here on it. See, it's not detecting an SD card. It has 3 battery cells there. I've only charged this the one time, so the battery actually seems pretty good. So as far as the actual setup goes, it's pretty simple. One pole here to the base to mount it. You can keep it from moving around by locking it here. The other side has a knob to get it to go up and down here on that pole and get it closer to whatever it is that you're inspecting. On the side of the screen, you have a dial control for the lights. And again, there are things that I like about this and there are things I don't, so I'll talk about that later. But yeah, pretty simple $39 microscope. I'll show you how it looks when we have something on screen here. Apologize for the shaky camera. All right, so you can kind of see I got it pretty well in focus. There actually is a focus ring that you can twist to get it in focus if it's not. But from here, if I had the SD card in, I would just hit the OK button to take a photo. And it works pretty well as far as the quality of this one is concerned. I know it's 720p, so I'm not expecting anything crazy. So you can kind of see one of the issues I have is with the lights. So this obviously depends on what it is that you're observing and recording. But since everything that I look at on a watch is through kind of a crystal or sapphire glass or something like that, these LED lights are really annoying for me. If you're just a coin collector, like this is marketed towards, I don't know if it would be that big of a deal. This takes a maximum SD card, micro SD card of 32 gigabytes. I'm using a fairly small memory card, but this is a 720 pixel display and it maxes out at that recording quality as well. So the display is very poor in my opinion, as far as even $39 Chinese displays are concerned. I think it's a pretty poor display. Microscope works with Windows. It does not work with Mac OS. Mac will detect the hardware, but it isn't able to use it for whatever reason. I don't know if there's a driver or something that's missing from Mac OS. I don't think it works with Linux either. Online, doing a little bit of research, it seems like no one's been able to get this to work with Mac as far as I can tell. And again, yes, see, it says here, does not work with Mac or Linux. So that's pretty much it. I'll throw up some examples of video and image so you can see what it looks like when you take it from the actual microscope to the PC. And maybe that'll help make your decision if it's worth buying this $39 version. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to the $190 version and unbox it and set that up. I haven't used it yet. And we'll take a look at that together. This is already way higher quality. I can tell just from holding it. The weight of it, the way it feels. The other one's just so cheap and kind of just crappy, and this seems so much nicer already. So we'll set that aside. Substantially different quality from the other one. This is all metal with kind of a track that it runs along. here so you can see how it moves there. Very, very different from the other one, which I'll pull over again, which is just plastic and runs along this little pole here, but very, very different quality. I mean, this stand alone is as heavy as this entire microscope, so very interesting. This stand comes with these kind of like weird antennae style lights, which is kind of cool. The reason I like that is because the other one, as I showed you, was super annoying having the LEDs like right where the camera lens is. That was really frustrating for me. So hopefully having the lights adjustable like that means I can get them out of the way when I'm looking at my focus area. So I'll get this set up and we'll turn it on and we'll go through that together. All right, so I got everything assembled here. The reason it comes with two USB-C cables is because one goes from that outlet to the base here, and that turned on these lights. And then there's a second outlet on the back of this base that goes up to the display to power that. So interesting. There's another 5-volt output on the back of this, which I'll show you here. So if you see, we got HDMI out, micro SD, USB, and then another 5-volt. You have a kind of a capacitive way of turning the base lights up and down there. So that's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and boot this up, and I'll go ahead and give you the satisfaction of peeling this off. Let's go ahead and get my watch here on the stand, and you can already see the display quality quite a bit different than it was before. It's actually already in focus as well. Really, really nice already. I can definitely say I'm happier with this one. And yeah, it does look like mine is the stand version, obviously, but they do have a version that can be mounted to a table with this flex arm, and also there's a ring light option for accessories. So multiple options here from this company, Elikliv. You have the small affordable option, then you have the nicer one that also has accessories that can be purchased as well. Pretty cool. So with that, we'll move on. And there's the GS for Grand Seiko. Just a much nicer, bigger display. Let's go ahead and turn these lights on and see what effect that has here. Oh wow, yeah, very cool. Let's get the other one here. Really nice. You can kind of make it sort of indirect lighting. Then we'll turn it down and up again. This is a way nicer setup than the other one. It's not close. We'll take a look at the menu options. You have some adjustments in terms of image quality here. Date and time, format the SD card, blah, 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 blah. Very cool. So it appears that this actually came with an SD card. I'll go ahead. It says 8.2 gigabytes. And looking at the back, we do in fact have a micro SD card. So that's cool that this one also came with that and I didn't have to order it. But so far I'm way happier with this one. Let's see if this remote has a battery already in it. Oh yeah, it looks like it does. So we're gonna pull this out. You have an option for photo and video. I'll take the photo. Yep, that's working. That's really cool. Out of the box, everything's working. Switch to video here. And it looks like it's already recording. So we should get a nice little seconds hand sweep here in a second. So there is a rechargeable battery inside the monitor. And yeah, we actually have an indicator here at the bottom left with a AC plug. But if I unplugged it, it would switch to battery level. So let's do that. All right, so we have 3 out of 4 battery cells. So really cool. You could take this in your backpack to campus or something if you needed to use it there. It does say that it works with Mac, which is a big difference over the other one. So this one says if you plug it in to your Mac, it'll pop up under Photo Booth, and you can take photos in Photo Booth with that. So that's really nice. You can just get it directly to your Mac without having to transfer SD cards and stuff like that. I'm going to quickly touch on my favorite features of the 4K version now that I've been using it for a little bit. These adjustable lights are so awesome. You can see just how I'm moving them here, the difference in terms of what you get of the subject. It's obviously going to depend on what you're looking at here, but being able to just play with that kind of ambient lighting has been really nice. The other thing is there's quite a bit of difference in terms of how far and how close you can get to the subject here. Take a look at these two side by side, outside of just the actual quality of the base, materials, and the weight and everything, they actually have so much more range in terms of what you can do in terms of distance from the object and all that. So if you got something larger that you want to look at, you don't have to be so close to it. You can be almost a foot away from it, seems like. And then compare that to this, where you got that adjustability here. And then, of course, you can move this up and down on the pole. But you are restricted quite a bit in terms of what you can record or photograph with on the 720 version. So with that, let's go ahead and get these two side by side, and I'll turn this one on. All right, so I got the Microscope side by side here. You can see the difference in size alone, but hopefully also screen quality between the two. The one thing, again, this one doesn't have a remote, so when you go to click it, you literally like press on the screen. You can see how much it moves just doing that. Really annoying. If you had a Windows PC, you can get around that by taking photos with the Windows software. But if you don't, it doesn't have a remote the way that this one does. So this one's much nicer for that application. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I'll be keeping the larger model, the $198 version that records in 4K. I think this is going to be awesome for me and my purposes, taking a look at watches and also for, repairs and things like that on electronics. This one is fun for $39, but not really all that useful for me. I guess if you're like getting this for a kid that's really interested in science or something and they want a microscope, this would be really fun to play around with, especially for the price. There's a lot of applications where this is super useful. Maybe for coin collecting is another application. For my purposes, this is the one that works for me. But anyway, that's all I've got for today. If you like the video, feel free to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below which one works best for you, and if you feel that this one is worth the $160 difference or $150 difference, whatever it is. But yeah, I guess that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one.